All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are talking about something that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's happening right now. We're going to connect the dots between AI companions and, believe it or not, the future of the human family as we know it. So let's just start with this quote from a user because it absolutely nails the appeal here. AI companions promise a relationship with zero friction. No arguments, no hurt feelings, no drama, just perfect, uncomplicated support. But there's a catch. This incredible convenience is causing a massive shift. I mean, think about it. For all of human history, that deep need for intimacy, for a partner, was fundamentally tied to survival, to making the next generation. Now, technology is snipping that wire. So you have to ask, what happens to us, to society, when something that fundamental gets turned on its head? Okay, so in this explainer, we're going to follow this chain of events. Think of it like a series of dominoes, one tipping over the next. We're going to see exactly where this tech could be taking us. And the first domino is the promise of the perfect partner. So yeah, that first domino is the tech itself. These AI companions, they're not just programs. They are engineered to give you the feeling of a real, deep connection, but without any of the hard stuff. You get to skip the arguments, you don't have to compromise, and you never, ever have to face the fear of being rejected. It's all the upside with none of the downside. So the big question is, why is this so powerful? How does this technology get its hooks into our psychology so effectively? What's the secret sauce here? Well, the answer comes from this wild concept in animal biology called a supernormal stimulus. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually super simple. It means our ancient lizard brains can be tricked, or really hijacked, by a fake signal, as long as that fake signal is bigger, brighter, and more intense than the real thing. And this experiment just illustrates it perfectly. So Nobel Laureate Niko Tinbergen discovered that a mother bird will literally abandon her own eggs, her actual offspring, to go sit on a giant, brightly colored fake egg instead. Why? Because her brain isn't wired for my egg. It's wired for the most egg-like thing. And the fake one is an exaggerated, more potent version of the real thing. It hijacks her instinct. Now here's where it gets really interesting, because the exact same thing applies to us. AI companions aren't just copying human connection, they are juicing it up. They are engineered with these supernormal traits. We're talking a waist-to-hip ratio of 0.62, which is basically impossible for a healthy human woman. But our brains are hardwired to go, wow. And when you pile on 24/7 availability and nonstop validation, well, it starts to make sense why, already, an incredible 21% of users say they prefer their AI to a real person. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. We actually have a real-world case study of what happens when huge numbers of people step away from the dating market. And this was before AI got this good. For this, we have to look at Japan. So back in the 90s, after Japan's economy hit a lull, this totally new social trend popped up. They were nicknamed herbivore men. These were guys who just lost interest in the aggressive, meat-eating pursuit of a career and a relationship. They just opted out of that whole high-pressure system. And in a shaky economy, real relationships just felt too risky, too expensive. So millions of these men retreated into virtual worlds that they could control. They started preferring 2D partners, anime characters, over the messy, complicated world of real 3D people. The waifu, or anime wife, was basically the beta version of an AI girlfriend. And it proved something huge. If a static, non-interactive drawing was enough to trigger this massive social change, what in the world happens when that drawing can talk back to you, remember your favorite movie, and give you perfect, unconditional love? And that brings us to the next domino, the one that's impossible to ignore, the cold, hard numbers. This is the point where a personal choice, made by millions, starts to scale up into a problem for civilization. Okay, I need you to remember one number, just one. It's 2.1. That's the number of children per woman a society needs to have just to replace its population, not to grow, just to stay level. 2.1. It's the magic number. This is the number for South Korea right now. Less than 0.8. It's the lowest in the entire world. And it's so bad it's been officially declared a national emergency. In Japan, where the whole herbivore thing started, they're sitting at about 1.2. And the results is already here. Japan's population is now shrinking by almost 1 million people every single year. And what about the United States? Well, we're at a historic low too, around 1.6.
At this point, pretty much all of our population growth is coming from immigration.
When you actually see these numbers laid out on a chart, it's just, wow. That dotted line at the top, that's 2.1. That's the floor. That's what you need just to keep the lights on. And look at that gap. We are miles below where we need to be. And the result is our whole society is getting flipped upside down. It used to look like a pyramid, right? A big, wide base of young workers supporting a small number of older folks at the top. Now it's becoming an inverted obelisk, teetering on its point. A tiny group of young people is expected to support this massive, top-heavy older generation. The math it doesn't work. It's not sustainable.
So after all these dominoes have fallen, where does this all end up? Well, the material we're looking at here predicts a future where society doesn't just get smaller, it actually splits right down the middle.
On one side, you'll have a group called the lineage keepers. This is a smaller group of people who make a conscious choice to reject synthetic partners and build traditional families. They lean into the messiness of real human connection. And on the other side, the terminal generation, a much larger group that partners with AI, choosing that perfect, frictionless comfort. For them, they will be the last branch on their family tree. So really, the big takeaway is this. Loneliness, as much as it hurts, is an essential evolutionary drive. It's the engine that has pushed us for millennia to find each other, to bond, to make families. What AI companions do is offer a bypass circuit. They soothe the psychological pain of being alone, but they completely bypass the biological outcome. They risk turning that engine off, maybe for good. Which leaves us with a pretty profound question to chew on. In our search for a perfect relationship, one without any of the messiness or the pain of real human connection, we might actually succeed. But when intimacy is finally perfected, is it even human anymore? And what are we giving up to get it?